Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Okay. Off and no sleep. This is too much, man. I'm not even fully awake yet, but I don't give a fuck. This is happening. We're here right now.
Let's go.
What's poppin', y'all? What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning, really. This is Art Morera. You're on another episode of the Medianoche podcast. This is episode 13, lucky 13. Fresh off of that blood moon. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The craziest blood moon of the fucking century. You know, I was walking my dog last night. We howled at that motherfucker. And now we're back here. I played a little bit of Diablo and passed out, you know? And I got what? Come on, man.
Chill.
Yo, yeah, I know. All right.
It's all good, man.
I got Serum here. I got Serum. What's up, bro?
What's going on, brother?
Man.
What's going on, man?
It's crazy. You got a crazy energy, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
I walk around the corner, you're like, all right, what's up, nigga? I'm like, damn, it's crazy. Yeah.
You set it off, yo. You the DJ, man. You know what I'm saying? You bring this out of us. You know what I mean?
Damn, thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. Straight
I
up. I'm just
that.
feeding off of you. You know? That's it.
That's that hotel coffee.
You know what I mean? I got another hotel coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Beer.
Hold on. Beer. Hey,
Word
man.
up.
Hold on. Before we even get started, bro, let me just tell the listeners what you did right when you walked in. First thing you did, right? Because you be painting.
Yeah,
You know?
since way back. That was how I got the name Serum. Since I was 13 years old, I used to write Serum. The story behind it is too kind of epic too, nigga. Like when I first got the name Serum, there was this cat named Cure, some IMP nigga back in the day, like 8th grade, middle school. I'm sure that it's not the Cure that you know of Graph now. And the name came to me, and we skipped 2 periods at Palmetto Middle School, and we basically destroyed the entire school. I wrote Serum Cure. He was kind of like a toy, so I like put him up the whole time.
Nice.
But I always see it like, you know, that was like the omen into Serum. You know what I mean? Like I went crazy and wrote it on a wall for like 2 hours straight.
Oh, Serum.
Yeah, and then Cure. It was crazy. You know, I didn't think about that till like maybe like 15 years later. I was like, yo, you know, in hindsight, it makes sense. Like, you know,
Wild.
Exactly. And 6th period, Officer Fry was waiting in the fucking in the principal's office and like got kicked out for the last month of school and shit because of Serum and shit. So yeah, that was like the original Serum, was the Graph Serum.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how hip hop you are. Like I know you for rhyming. Your name is Serum, MC Serum, but
For sure.
but you wrote it up. You know? And like, man, like I had linked you. I had like the reason why I brought this up is because you hooked me up with some pieces, bro. You be doing these ill like graffiti. They're like portraits. You know? They're kind of like this graffiti style portrait of you, man, with the third eye open. And it's just, it almost feels like a little bit tribal too. You know?
Yeah, that's that Haitian shit.
Okay, hold on. So you told me that you wrote something in the back of this. It's like, what is this, like a 6x8 or something?
It's a 5x7.
5x7. I was a little off.
That's actually number one. I have a series of paintings I do called Third Eye Vision.
Yeah.
Hieroglyphics album was one of my favorite albums like in high school. And that's actually the first one. When I listened to your album, Transit City, is when I started the series. I didn't know I was starting the series at the time. But, you know, I started doing this shit, and then I do another one. I did 2 of them to your album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I always listen to music and shit while I'm painting, obviously, you know?
Word.
And that was the first one, so...
Let me see what you wrote in the back here. You said, Art, I made this while bumping your album. Peace, Serum. Fucking wild, bro. Damn.
Yeah, man.
This is going to be one of those, like, man, I'm going to try my best to take the most care of this as I could, bro. I really appreciate this, man.
No doubt.
It's crazy seeing that like in real life, too. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Word. Thank you, bro.
Hey, thank you. You know, the music, it's like a... You know, when you listen to the music and you paint and stuff like that, like, you know, a lot of times you don't know what you're gonna fucking paint. And like the music kind of like brings out, okay, something in there just kind of fucking gets whatever the fuck you're drawing on paper and shit, you know?
That's
And,
how you bump into music. Like you do it through the zen of your painting.
yeah, a lot of it's like freestyle. Like a lot of my work's not planned and shit, you know what I mean? I just go with the vibe. A lot of my work is planned, but it's always with the music. The music is like back in the days, you know, you'd be in your graph book till like 2 or 3 in the morning. You're a jit, your ass ain't allowed to go out the house. So you lock in and you put on some fucking music and you stay in your graph book till 3 in the morning. Shouts out to DJ Corey Chase. That was my brother in arms at that time, yo. We were like fucking, that's the cat I really got in the graph with, yo.
Damn, that's wild, man.
Yeah.
I feel a little disconnected from my graph, not my grassroots, my graph roots, you know?
Yeah.
Because man, like now I just kind of just be sketching on paper, like, but especially now since doing this podcast, it's just so inspiring. Like everyone out there, if y'all haven't even attempted to just if you're into illustrating and let's say you grew up on comic books or something, like bump some hip hop, get some markers, you know what I'm saying, and just play around with some graffiti, man. You're gonna see what that does to you, you know.
You know, comic books was actually the first thing I started drawing. That's funny because I used to be drawing as a kid. That was like my first thing, drawing Ninja Turtles and fucking Spider-Man or whatever the fuck. And then in 7th grade, somebody asked me, "What's your tag?" And you know, like the social pressure, you had a table full of homies and shit like that. Like, whoa, what's this? You know, your tag that you write on the wall. I'm like, whoa. Like, you know what I mean? I was really, and then after that, I was like, okay, well, I guess this is something, you know, from a more feeble, you know, child perspective. Like, I need to have this shit to be official. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, niggas out here, that's the kind of cast I gravitate. They got tags. So, all right, cool. This tribe that I roll with got tags. So I'm going to fucking get a tag too then. You know what I mean? And I'm going to put that shit. And yeah, yo, that's just, that's how, the way you brought that up, yo. If you draw some blah, 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 yo, it's dope. Try graffiti, yo.
Yo, man, I see, you know, you came through and, you know, you brought yourself some brews, man. And you was talking about this bottle opener that you have. Now tell the story. Now that we're on the mic. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny. Yeah, this bottle opener I got in 2003. I was on my way back from Scribble Jam. 2002 and 2003, I battled in Scribble Jam alongside with Recognize. You know what I mean? Recognize was like, we were like, we still are brothers. Let me just correct that. But at that time, you know, we were like brothers in arms, like with the battle shit, you know? It's very odd, like you find like battle cats that are like supposed to be really rivalries to have such a high level of mutual respect and like camaraderie with each other. We used to, you know, when Rec had his first studio in Hollywood, you know what I mean? We used to sit down and build. He produced a lot of shit for me and my oldest stuff. Yeah.
Man, okay.
You know what I mean? Like some of the Mechanical Mystic shit he produced. And we were coming back from Scribble Jam. It was me, Rec, and Juice. You know Juice. Juice be making mad moves and shit with the videos and stuff.
Juice, word.
Yeah, so Juice is my nigga, yo. And we come down from Scribble Jam and we decide to stop in Kentucky for something. We really needed weed. I was going crazy. Like, yo, if I find somebody on the street with trees, yo, I'm going to pay them double. I'll tell them I'll pay them triple, yo. Just bring me back the shit and I'll make sure I got you like I got you. So we stopped at a record store. We saw there was a record store, so we stopped. I had some extra records. That's when I was on Botanica del Jíbaro Records. I did my record, Melting in the Pot.
Yeah.
And I had like back then, Steve, who used to run BDJ, La Mano Fria, he would do it where the cost of the record, he would press the 1,000, like, you know, say it cost like 300 records of that to recoup. He'd take that, that's his investment he's getting back, and then the profit he split 50-50. So these 700, I'm taking 350 of. These others, you take 350 of. Now, he had his distribution. He was getting the record all over the world, but he really acknowledged the artist and wanted the artist to get a piece of the pie. You know what I mean? So I had these records. He was very grassroots. If you see, he has a very revolutionary type mind and shit. So I had these records. So I went in the record store, blah, 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 blah. These guys gave me a consignment deal. You know, okay, you give us 5 records. I never heard from them again. But the bottle opener I got from the store, and I kept it. I don't know how the fuck. I mean, I had been through crazy shit since then. I don't know how the fuck this bottle opener is still on my keychain.
That's fire, bro. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yo, it's crazy.
If you got that off of like you almost like you bartered, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for the keychain, that to me that's worth more than like I mean, I don't want to say that's worth more than someone just buying the records, but like that sentimental value of that moment, it's like to me that's like just as dope as just like just some bread that you got from some record store on the way back from Scribble. Like you mentioned, like you and Rec, man. I remember, bro. Like I'm never gonna forget because this is such an impressionable time for me. But like I would sign up to these battles. I went to Barbara Goldman Senior High School, like. Minus Minus was the one I was like, yo, okay, so you want to get into this rap shit, huh?
Minus, shouts out to Minus, yo, another great guy, yo, good dude.
And then like he was already like in the circuit with Parable, and like Parable had all the VHSs, you know.
Parable,
and then,
another legend.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah,
Damn,
crazy.
it's wild. Like, and it's almost like the internet wasn't even a thing yet. So like now you hear all this stuff about like, oh yeah, the Parable when he teamed up with Mad Ills and all, but that's what they know. They don't know the shit that we know with this MC shit here, you know?
No doubt.
And like, man, like you and Recognize were like this like the two like boss levels that no one else could ever seem to get past, you know?
Word.
It's just wow. I mean, how does it feel like hearing that now, you know?
It's dope, you know, like, you know, it's crazy, man. Like, I'm just humbled by it, you know? Like, a lot of times, you know, I could be my own worst critic, you know? So I never thought I was, like, the illest battle cat or, you know.
I did.
I had, like, I had the confidence that I want to take on anybody during that time. But, you know, your own worst critic, you know. A lot of times, man, I hear Rec, you know, Rec was just on point, you know? I mean, he was, I guess we had our different strengths. But at the time, I just, you know, I just was going with it. You know what I mean? I was just trying to, you know, I was in that flow, not really thinking about too much, you know?
Your shit was mad jazzy with it. I remember at Club G's, you had the thing is that like there were some MC battles that like it's almost like as if I recall correctly, like there were some battles that you almost like just sat back like I'm gonna let these little homies do their thing right quick, you know, almost like you knew that if you were to step in the ring, you're like there's no competition, and in a way like you picked and choose your battles. From what I remember, like you pick and choose your battles that way that other people can build themselves up, you know?
Dope.
But like this one time at Club G's, you signed up.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
I signed up for Recognize and Rudy Goblin. I remember Rec just came back from the MTV shit, and it was like a celebration.
Yeah.
And like Rec and Rudy came up. It was like, yo, you battling in this shit, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, definitely for you. You know, if they, you know, they got great energy. You know what I mean? So like once they touch me with that energy, now I'm electrified. I'm like, yeah, hip hop, let's go. Come on, these are my niggas that like, you know, I grew up. That my foundation. You know what I mean? Rudy Goblin, Pro Fresh Crew. If Recognize wasn't in Broward, he would have been definitely right there with Pro Fresh Crew, and he was one of us, man. I mean, he hung out with H2O. He came back to the Pro Fresh Mansion, chill with us. I mean, so I just felt like I had to battle that day and shit.
you told this one MC because there was some pool tables in that venue. You're like, whack MC corner pocket. That was one of your punchlines.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That shit was, you know, when you freestyle, you kind of got to let people know you're freestyling. I remember like in Pro-Am, there was some like PNB sign, and I told them, you know, someone's gonna battle me. I said some shit, change that PNB sign to Pure Nasty Brutality or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And like those little things is like what a freestyle battler has to kind of do. It's kind of to show like your prowess, I guess you would say. It's like I can come up and pull something out of my pocket. I could pull a fucking tank out of my pocket. I could right on the spot use that thing that's on the wall and transform it into a fucking UFO and take you out with it. You know, it's just a lot of the freestyle battle cats, you know, all of them. That was like an agenda, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That's and I feel like to be able to like sharpen that part of your brain, it just makes you think fast in the real world, you know? Like you talk with somebody, you could be like, oh nah, but you know what I'm saying? It just helps you stay hyper aware.
Yeah.
You know?
Freestyle, yeah. I'm sure all the battle cats, their girlfriends hate arguing with them and shit.
For real shit, man.
Yeah, it's funny, yo.
It's funny because like, man, like you saying that just it's true, man. You almost like just take the back seat, you're like, all right, it's all good, because you just kind of know, you're like, all right, you know, whatever, it's all good, you know? But man, like, you know, since then, like there were some cats that like they almost kind of like fell through the cracks a little bit, you know, like because that time was just so good. But like, you know, whatever, people grow and it's like ripples, you know, they grow outward, you know.
Correct. Yeah, for sure.
But man, like, you know, when you started to transition into music, you know, and like I remember undergroundhiphop.com really embraced your music, and that was like,
man, those guys are dope, yo. Man, I went to undergroundhiphop.com once. My brother was graduating in Boston University. I was like, yo, man, take me to undergroundhiphop.com. And, yo, I mean, you know, whatever, you know, everybody has their own accomplishments and level of accomplishment. But to me, the best shit was, I went to undergroundhiphop.com, and Aronius, one of the dudes that worked there, recognized me. He's like, yo, you're fucking Serum. I was like, oh, shit. And my whole family was there. You know, my mom, my dad, and my sisters, and they see this guy. You know, sometimes your family, you know, they love you and all, but they're not keeping track like your boys in the hip-hop scene. Your family ain't there in the front seat of the battles and all that shit.
yeah.
And when they saw that shit was dope. It was like, yo, they started taking out the little cameras and shit, looking like little Asian tourists. And then the dude asked me to take a picture in that legendary wall and whatever the fuck it was that everybody, you know, you see mad dope MCs on that wall of underground hip hop, the graffiti wall with the little stage. And yeah, man, I love, you know, on a humble tip, you know, I always try to stay like that, you know, give thanks. And that was like big, yo, you know what I mean? Straight up.
Yeah, man. You know, I feel like when it comes to Miami music, because I talked about this on the episode prior with someone else, like Miami music has its like commercially stereotypical sound, but there's this whole other like category of cats from here that they chose to not conform to that. They stuck to like their own little sound that they have. But like, you're from Miami. People have to understand that the music you make, Brainstorm Trooper, that is Miami hip hop.
Exactly,
like,
yo.
You know,
that's the one thing about categories, you know. A lot of times when you're a category, you know, you got to be a stereotypical way. But a lot of cats don't realize that once you're in that category, everything you do represents that. Like, say, for example, you're Miami. So no matter what, if it's not what resonates with somebody else, like stereotypically, like, oh, but that's not that. So you're not wearing all of the defense mechanisms and badges and, you know, all the fucking everything on your sleeve to let everybody know this struggle of identity that, oh, I'm from Miami, you better know it. Nah, nigga, I'm from Miami. You don't know it, fucking find out. I don't give a fuck. I'm from Miami. This represents Miami. Even like you're a Latino. Me, I'm a black man. Yo, whatever the fuck we do represents our culture. I don't care what anybody says, because whatever we do is part of that experience as that. You don't got to sit down and worry about what the next man says if you're not repping. I never believed in that shit. That's just all bullshit to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, hip hop is universal. Art is universal. Culture is universal. Expression is universal. Don't ever feel confined to a lane to just be yourself, yo, just to do what the fuck you want, you know? That's how I always felt.
I remember this one time at a house party, bro. I remember at this house party, like in North Miami, like this, you know, there are these little memories that I have, bro, that I hold on to, that like in a weird way, like they just get committed to memory, and like I'll never forget it. I remember one time at a house party in North Miami or some shit, I was walking past this you were talking with somebody, and like I like overheard this little detail that you said that always resonated with me, where you said something like, yeah, you know, like nowadays, unless if you add a little bit of like, you know what I'm saying, you start talking a certain way to almost mimic how people they put on this weird little universal hip hop accent, you know, to kind of like be able to blend with how everyone else sounds on record, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe you probably don't remember that, but like,
it's definitely something I think that's definitely coming from me for sure.
And but you know what, man, it's true, man. And like, I'm guilty of it. When I was finding myself on record, I was like, oh, well, maybe if I, you know, and I remember that little detail that you said popped into my head, and I was like, nah, I can't, you know, I can't do that, you know?
Damn, that's love. That's what's up, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes you think you just talk hot air and nobody really, you know, if that's good, that's dope. You know what I mean? That's what's up, yo.
Well, do you think that a lot of music that cats from down here be dropping is like hot air? Like they'll be dropping some shit, but like for whatever reason, like it's not really embraced on a major, like on a mass level, where like everyone from Miami also takes their time to experience this project by such and such or whatever. Like that's kind of a little.
I'll say this, like in regard to that, like if everybody paints their fucking car red, you know what I mean? How much is a red car gonna stand out? You paint your car fucking a crazy ass fucking color, you know what I mean? And the end of the day, you know, if that's your genuine who you are, is that then hey, you're not doing, you know, your artistic creation. If it's genuinely you're from Miami, you genuinely have this in your architecture as a person to just be on this Miami, you know, and there's a lot of cats that's real with that shit, man. And they really are Miami motherfuckers, and they doing real shit. You know, I'll never diss that. But like, if you come from like a place and, you know, that's not how your family grew you up talking, and, you know, that's not how you articulate yourself, like, why do something that just to fit in? I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, why talk a certain way just because people will think it's official on a record, you know? That's not what art's about. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion.
And you bring up family, like also on the other side of the coin, like sometimes people stay away from trying to fit in because like there's too much pressure on them to stay to not grow or blossom in a certain way. Like for example, with my family, like I love my family, but there's nobody hip hop musical in my family. So here I come with the necklace with the big beads on it, a big ass book bag.
Shout out to you.
You know what I'm saying?
With that shit, I remember.
I was just talking with Joey from Dub P, and he was bringing up how like, oh yeah, I remember like you was in a battle in Titanic and you had that big ass necklace. And what's funny is that I remember I went to like a flea market when I was a kid, and like one of the tables was selling a bunch of those different types of huge beads for like necklaces. And I remember I had like a $20 bill, and I was like, how much would this get me? And the guy was like, oh, this much. And I got enough for like this long ass necklace, and like this, and I had all these different patterns, you know. And I was like, word, like you have one right now, but how many years have you had this necklace for? Yo,
this shit, as we can see, like, there was I guess a varnish or some shit on there. It's like gone, like on the wood. This is actually the necklace I wore in the Brainstorm Trooper video. I had this necklace probably for like 12 years. The one you see with the little Buddha on it, I had that shit since the original battle days. I used to battle in that necklace like in 99, 2000, 2001.
You still have it?
Yeah, yo. That was like last time I performed, I wore that beat, those beads. Yeah.
Yes. Like the reason why I brought it up is because like, you know, like my family, they see me embracing this like underground hip hop culture, and like my family's Cuban, and like I'm the first in my generation from my parents, and before them they're all directly from Cuba. So it's like here oh, in their mind they must be thinking like, is this just American culture? Like we have this kid here, and now he's a teenager, and this is what he's doing. Is this what's going on in America right now? You know, and like it's kind of funny because, like, not that they never really supported me, but like my mom did, you know, but they just don't know how.
They don't understand.
Yeah, they don't know how to support hip hop on the come up.
Yo, I feel the same way. Like my family's Haitian. You know, I'm first generation. You know, I was born in New York originally. I came down here when I was like 8 years old. Came down here in 1989. And yo, I mean, Haitian cats, you know, they be on some, you know, they think like America, like type of practices are like the devil. Like they want you to stick to your Haitian culture and don't get lost like with the crazy Elvis kids and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I was doing my shit, yeah, I was a black sheep in my family. You know what I mean? I definitely feel that, you know, and when I was doing things that weren't the tradition and the norm of like how my culture was raised, you know, they'd be looking at me like moon fu, like crazy people in Creole, you know? And I feel that, man. 100%, 150%.
Yeah, and you know what? In a weird way, like I get it. I understand where they're coming from. This is so alien to them, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, but I imagine that the transition from like their generation to the ones before then to now, it's like this crazy leap, you know? It's like
alien world.
Yeah, for sure, you know? Yeah. And then now I kind of feel like that's happening again now, but to us, with the new generation.
Yeah, word.
You know? But I feel like there's this like the difference between the generation now with us and then us with before is like we showed respect to our generations before, whereas now they're not really doing the same to the older ones, you know?
I don't know. It might be like the internet, you know. I remember back in the day, hip hop was all about camaraderie and crew and building and, you know, showing love to the next man for his skill and his craft and, you know, real recognizing real. And I don't think it's just hip hop, just as communication in the world. And I feel like, you know, the world's gravitating, evolving into some mean girls, throwing shade, you know, dissing, too much defense mechanisms to really show love and respect to your next dude. Like you talked about like the record in the record store. Yeah, if I would have made some money off that, it would have been just another fucking piece of money that would have fucking disappeared and I would have spent it on some weed. But the fact that I made a connection with somebody and we traded something, to me, like that's, you know, not everything is about money, yo. There's more things. Not everything value is money. That's it. You know what I mean? And I think like a lot of times, like, and you know, there's a lot of cats from the new generation that's doing it and they're doing it right and they were raised in the true school ways. But that, I feel like that's hip hop's influence, but the world's influence and a lot of the cats that may not come from a culture that's like, you know, where you have to, where the, you know, you not respect your elders, like some fucking cheesy shit, but you know what I mean? Like pay homage, you know what I mean? Like we come from Caribbean cultures, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people practice these African rituals where we pray to our ancestors and our ancestors protect us and things of that nature, Santeria, voodoo, shit like that, you know what I mean? And like, that's part of who we are. That's in our blood, you know what I mean? As people. And the new system, you know, for whatever it is less fucking human. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're more connected to electronics. It's like we're evolving to the point where we'll fucking have like this fucking motherboard in our brain or some shit at one point, our hard drive in our neck. Like we're becoming more artificial than natural, I feel like. You know what I mean? Humanity as a whole, not hip hop.
It's almost like when we were it's funny me saying this, man, because it's true. I don't want to be on no like cheesy shit with the elders or whatever, but I do feel like, you know, when I was coming up, it was definitely more of like a tribal craft, whereas now, like people that want to get into rap, they see it more like a music industry genre of music. Let's get into it. You know, how can we make money? So we went from like MPCs to like calculators, you know?
Correct.
And it's like, it's a little funny, bro.
I peeped that. And I say it, you know, that's not what, like if you look at hip hop and you say the word tribal, just look at a cipher, yo. It's a circle of people, yo. You know what I'm saying? Coming in and out, whether it's a B-boy cipher, an MC cipher, this circle, this is the roots of humans, you know what I mean? This congregation, you know what I'm saying? This camaraderie, this type of shit, like, so yeah, man, I feel you on that. There was more tribal, but I think that has to do with like capitalism and economy, and once like Hollywood and economy came in, like cats were now like fighting for the fucking carrot waving over their head, and there became more just artificial conflict strictly for survival, you know what I mean? And it really, that's not what hip hop is about, you know what I mean? And I feel like you know, capitalism, and I was in FIU, you know, one of my sociology professors, he used the catchphrase all the time: capitalism breeds individualism. You know what I mean? And I feel that no aspect of culture and capitalism can escape that. You know what I mean? You have to fight to be away from that. You know what I mean?
Do you remember, man, like, would you mind like sharing some memories, bro, on like someone I think you did on Facebook, that you put up this video. Was it you that put up this video of J Pure?
Oh man, yeah, J Pure, man. God bless J Pure, man. J Pure is one of the, you know, I wish that everybody in Miami hip hop could know who J Pure was, man. J Pure was so fucking ill, yo. He was so real. J Pure was a warrior, comfortable in his skin. He had no problem. You know, in all reality, J Pure was around before me. And the reason why I show love and shit like that is because a lot of the cats that were there before me, when I was coming up and, you know, they recognized where I was at, they showed mad love. They didn't have like an insecurity about it. They weren't trying to protect themselves. They knew who they were. They were confident in their sword.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they acknowledged, man, J Pure was dope. And yeah, that video I posted was of the cypher. We used to have these ciphers in South Beach, yo. You know what I mean? Like
South Beach
where
Cypher, yeah.
man, where all these cats come out and, you know, all the Miami heads, you know, that want to rap. You had cats like Minus, Parable, all the cats, yo. I mean, Proto, remember Proto, nigga? All these cats.
You
J
talking about,
Pure.
yeah, Promo, yeah.
Promo, not Proto, Promo.
Yeah,
yo.
yeah. You
yeah.
battled Promo. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember 2 punchlines that y'all said to each other. You know, like because Promo was like he's like short. He's not tall, and
Yeah.
like, you're mad tall.
Yeah.
So like when it was his turn, he was like he goes to you. He's like this Serum's heads in the clouds, literally. And then your rebuttal to that was like you're like down to earth, literally. You know what I'm saying?
That's the shit, yo. That's funny.
When
yo.
I had Cloud9 here, he also remembered another punchline that you said. You told Promo, he was like, you were like, oh, you're like Mario before he ate the mushrooms, and then you just keep
Yeah, I
going from
remember that,
there.
yo.
Like,
Yeah, it was dope. That was a dope time, and like we all fed off each other. Like honestly, like that's the positivity off of just feeding off of each other's energy. And back then, you know, it was like almost you can compare to like, you know, fist fighting versus gun shooting. Back then, you battled, you were best friends after. It was no big deal. There was no beef, shake hands. Now, it's like, I don't know, man. Let's just say things aren't settled as old school or I don't even know the word to say, but it's different. You know what I mean? It's different. And yeah, shouts out to J Pure and those South Beach ciphers. One cat that always brings up the South Beach ciphers, which is cool, is Da Vinci. He was there. He used to be there, and I remember like every time we talk, you know, somehow we bring up the fucking, you know, South Beach ciphers. So that's dope.
yeah, man. I might mess around and just bring that shit back one time, bro. But instead of a boombox, I'll just get like my Beats pill. And just
Yeah.
like on some new shit, be like, all right, y'all. So this is what it was like, you know? Because this is the thing, like freestyling over the beat. Not only is it just the funnest shit ever, you know, but it's also like a great way for you to train yourself to be rhythmic, like to be, you know, you're gonna rhyme, but to a rhythm, and you're gonna like make sure that you kind of sound good. You know, your voice isn't gonna be on some extreme weird shit. Like, I mean, I you know, being such a fan of rap. And like URL, for example, URL King of the Dot, like that format of like acapella rap, like it's cool, but I like, or for me to say it's cool, I'm not trying to sound dismissive because it's dope, you know. But
sure.
like you know, like you walk in one direction, you're getting further from the other, you know.
True that.
So
True
like
that.
these guys, like they have these crazy rhyme schemes, but they don't make good music anymore because that they're not sharpening that side, you know.
Kind of disconnected from the 1, 2, 3, 4 from the beat, because it's like you gotta basically like write to do it a cappella. So it's not like you're really gonna be writing your bars to the beat.
Yeah.
You're gonna be writing to just nothing, and it kind of does disconnect the mechanisms in your brain to form a flow to a beat versus you. It's more of like I'm not gonna call it spoken word, but it's more in the tradition of that there's no beat attached. It's just your voice. And you know, it's an art form in itself. I respect all of that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of really nasty cats. I'll never knock the format. It just being from somewhere else, you know what I mean? It's like if you drank this brand of beer for, you know, a long time and then it's not something that I would probably participate in. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm doing music. You know, I remember when we was at Scribble Jam, like the first year I only battled. The second year, because of Counterflow Records and BDJ, I got to open and spit my music on the opening night of Scribble Jam at Fat Cats in downtown Cincinnati. I had CDs and all that shit. And man, there was, you know, I could tell you that after I had both tastes, Thursday I opened, Friday and Saturday was the battle. I think Saturday was the battle. Yo, so much more satisfaction came from the stage. So much more satisfaction came from me having that CD player, playing my music for people, and then buying the CD and just being like, yo, that's just dope. And at that point, I wasn't worried about like competing with the next man. Now it's like that point you're competing with yourself. You know what I mean? And then, you know, from there on, you know, been doing my music, blah blah blah, you know.
And also, man, I just feel like it's specifically with Scribble, like these guys, they knew that they made music, but they also signed up to the battle, and it's almost like as if, for example, like Brother Ali signing up to the battle, or Idea. These guys, they knew that Rhyme Sayers dropped music, but to see them battle, it was almost like as if the crowd was like, "Yo, we rock with you." Period. So sign up to this battle, so that way that you can improve, and we got your back as you you know what I'm saying. You develop yourself, you know.
And it's like, I think too, like a lot of those cats, they were just, you know, that was the spirit of hip hop. You know what I mean? It's like you if you were inclined to battle, like in that era, you were doing music and battling. You know, you decided to jump in. You know, and especially like cats like Brother Ali and Idea. It's kind of like their fam. You know what I mean? These guys were like battling in Scribble Jam, like in home team. You know what I mean? And the home team is rooting for him. And why not, man? Jump in the battle, man. You know, you got the skills to do it. Fucking go in there, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, but like back on the show tip, like one thing that I'm happy about, I gotta give a shout out to like Heron for, is that Heron, he knows, you know, he's like, okay, let's say like the Jizza. You opened for Jizza recently.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Or
do
who
that
was
show.
it? Who was it that you opened for?
Last show was Ras Cass and Shabam Sadiq.
Right. Okay. Word.
My
My
out
bad.
to DJ Heron. Nah, it's
I
all
didn't
good.
mean to
It's all
misspeak.
good.
But like he knows. He's like, okay, the fans that are into this music, they need to be put onto cats like you. You know.
Yeah, man, that's dope. You know, I appreciate DJ Heron. You know what I'm saying? I got an album with DJ Heron about to drop. You know, really good music about to come out from me and DJ Heron, yo. So stay tuned for that, yo. We got some. I've never been like a feature person, you know what I mean? Like I always, but we got some pretty cool features on it too. One person, I'm not trying to talk about the other cast, but one person, some people from the 305 that I shot out is on the album Omniscient.
Yeah.
Recognize, you know what I mean? And then there's other cats that, you know, are more established cats in hip hop that are on it, but those features probably mean more to me than the other ones. You know what I mean?
Word. Nah, and that's tight, man. That must have like some type of, because I remember like after you and Rec battled, y'all also came out with like this one track. And
Crawl
it was
Before You Walk.
Yeah, and it was one of those like, shit, and like people that were in the loop were like, nah, but this is happening now too, and there was this hype built around it, man. It's just so crazy, dog.
It's dope, man.
You know, I remember like I was in high school and I walked up to you after this battle one time, and like I was like, yo, I forgot how I said, I forgot exactly what the question I asked was, but I was like, yo, whatever, what's up, Serum, blah blah blah, and I was like, yeah, man, so like, I don't want to like butcher the question, but I remember your response was like, yo, this is my job, bro. This is what I do. You know, of course, man, this is my job. This is my, and like, I remember that was so impactful, that response. Like, I was like, damn, bro, like we sign up for these battles, but like I go to school in the morning, or like I go to my part-time job, but like these cats, like this is just what they do. I want to be that. You know, I was
working a job, yo. I was just a really cool sounding response and shit. You know what I'm saying? Sounding, yo, nigga, it's my job, nigga. It's what I do, son.
Of course. No,
Yeah,
I mean, now I'm aware of that, you know?
what I mean?
Like, but still, it's like to put that out to the universe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, listen, like, I'm not going to be known as whatever the fuck my day job is. Like Jesus was a carpenter, you know what I'm saying? But that's not what he's known for, you know?
Dope. Good analogy.
So
analogy.
So it's like,
I'm not no Jesus though. I ain't saying that.
No.
I'm not holy. I don't think I'm holy or none of that shit.
No. But I'm saying like people people want to be known for where their heart, like what they love to do, not what they feel like they have to get paid to do to enable them to do what they love, you know?
Definitely, man.
But like that, and really like, you know, as soon as I can, bro, like I really want to be able to just like, you know, you see, I have this like PA system here, and this mixers and these mics and all that, and like I just want to totally get into that like indie tour grind, which is
dope.
One thing that like, man, I gotta give my props to like other cats from the city that are doing it, like Mayday.
Oh yeah, man.
You know,
man, they're killing it. They're fucking killing it, man. I mean, these guys are going all over the country. They're going to Canada, just continually growing and building, and I salute them, man. They're 100%, man. I mean, that's from work, man. You know, those cats been working fucking hard, man. You know what I mean? For a while, man, and got a good work ethic, and they just You know, I grew up with Recognize and Bernie and all them cats. Like I used to be on a lot of Burns' first records in the group Evolver. If you ever look at the Botanica del Hibaro releases, on the Evolver releases, I would be on a lot of them, and we would record in the same studio. They would help me a lot, recording my stuff too, like Bernie and Youre and these cats. Real cool cats, man. And, you know, they're a reason why I got a lot of my shit out and recorded a lot of my records and shit.
Do you have any like favorite memories of like live shows? Just even doesn't matter how new or how old these memories are. Like, what are some of your favorite memories at a live show with that you performed at?
Shit, man. You know, I couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you. I'll get a funny one. I mean, it's stupid. It's real ignorant and shit. But one I remember, I was just talking about this group, The Leftovers from Broward. I don't know who I was talking to. I was with Orion. I was at Orion's lab like last Wednesday or something, and we were talking. And Orion's like a fucking guru of this Miami hip hop shit. He knows everybody. He got all the fucking records. Like, that's that nigga, you know? And we were talking about The Leftovers, and I was talking about homie Ray. Well, there was this one time we were in Broward, and me and Solo Man, you know, my brother Solo Man, Mechanical Mystic, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out Solomon, yeah, for sure.
Man, Solo Man Spectrum, Solomon, exactly. And we were doing our show, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, this is not my favorite moment. I mean, I just can't really think of any other moments. But this cat was wild. This cat was trying to like fight everybody in the club. He was drunk. It was one of those cats that like they must have just got out their fucking house for like the first time ever, had their first drink, and they were fucking going crazy. They're trying to fight. You could tell it was like a whole nother version of themselves. This person was just gone. And stupid ignorant. Again, remember I'm saying that. It's usually not Serum shit to talk about shit like this. And I remember Ray fucking, this guy was like coming at us with bottles, about to bum rush the stage. And me and Solon like, oh, we're going to have to start rapping and like, you know, do something. And then Ray came from nowhere with like one left hook and knocked him out cold. I thought that was pretty cool. It was like a security of the first world moment, third world, whatever the fuck world was fucking. It was just the stupidest. That's like the most recent story I had about a show. So I guess that's why it came out. In retrospect, it's pretty fucking stupid, but
it's
Ray
not.
is the man, yo. Ray is the man.
But it's not stupid, man. These are great moments, man. Like, well, now that you're sitting here, bro, and like, you know, like you're an MC, I'm an MC. Like, this is something that I really want to pick your brain at. Like, would you mind, like, just telling me kind of like your writing process? You know, like how do you know, you hear the beat and like what happens? You know,
I just write. You know, I just like for writing. You know what I mean? Like, I give like shout outs to all the influences out there, you know, Pun, Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, you know, all the real technical writers, you know, like Cool G Rap in the interview, you know, he talks about like heavy gunners. Like I got certain MCs that's heavy gunners. Like some cats got flows, but some cats is heavy gunners, you know? And I guess I always just tried in some way to be really intricate, technical, you know, but still come with content, you know. Like one time, like, you know, sometimes things like get lost when you try to be too complex, you know what I mean? Like you don't have a topic in your song, or you're not saying things you're just saying the words because they rhyme. You're not coming with a clever punchline or clever lines or a clever sequence of this wordplay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a good example of that, another big influence, huge, is like Pharoah Monch. You know what I mean? Pharoah Monch was a cat that had style and flow, but he had really good, deep content. And if you reference the stuff he talks about and you open the books and stuff, so, you know, when I'm rhyming, it's like, you know, I guess you would say it's like, you know, brainstorm trooper. Like I'm just, you know, I put on my fucking helmet and I really just try to like click in and outdo myself. Like I don't really care, like, you know, sometimes like of how people may interpret it, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like that Ryu in the forest. Like I want to beat myself. I want to do this punch better than I did it before type of shit. Yeah. And like, you know, some stupid like corny martial arts reference, but it is a form of mastery, whatever field of life you try to master. So I guess I always just try to like, you know, really go in. But I will say this, there's a balance to that shit. You know what I mean? And one thing I admire about your music, man, you get your point across, man. You know what I mean? You really like talk about stuff and you get what you have to say. And there's that duality. You have to have that both. You're a technical master. Your punchlines, you know, the way you construct your stuff, you know, if you're a clever motherfucker, you're gonna be like, yo, this cat's nice. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you're not, it still resonates, you know? And later on doing my music, like my later music was more, I try to do that more, you know? Like I started with that too, like cats like Youre, Bernie, a lot of those cats, you know, they were doing these songs in Plex even. Like I used to stay next to Plex from Algorithm and Plex, so, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of these cats were, you know, they had like good content and good concepts, you know what I mean? So a lot of the stuff that I was putting out in vinyl, you know, was influenced by a lot of that. And then I gotta be the, you know, most intricate, you know, fucking shibbity hibbity jibbity shit. And now I feel like it's a balance, you know what I mean? Like when I started making my videos and started doing music to the more putting stuff out, like I feel like I'm finding that balance, and I'll continue on. Cause in all reality, you always gotta be a student. Like I'm not the fucking master of shit. You know, I'm always gotta get better and better and learn something new and not think like I'm, you know what I mean? So the writing process is always evolving, you know what I mean?
It's like that tug of war, you know? It's like do you want to sacrifice the message for the rhymes because you admire rhymes so much, or
Correct.
do you want to maybe like sacrifice a little bit of the rhymes for the message? Where's that happy medium?
Sir.
Every single song, bro. Like,
Yes,
man,
sir.
there are some songs, man, even today, bro, I'll put on a beat and like I'll start thinking about whatever I want to write. And the way that my brain is wired is like the first thing that comes to me is the rhyme, what rhymes with what I'm saying now. And then I'll have all these like rhyme schemes, but like I've thrown away rhyme patterns that have nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but the rhyme was perfect. And I was like, damn, do I want to just to flex a little bit of on the rhyming capability? And I'm like, nah, I can't, you know?
It's true, man. I feel you on that 100%. I guess like the perfect balance comes, like, you know, when you write some shit and you're like, like you love what you just wrote because it has like that balance. It's like this perfect flow and connection, but it's saying exactly what you were trying to get across.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
the
I mean?
trick right there.
That's the trick. I think if any MC, when they hit that bullseye, you know what I mean? Because you're
Yeah.
able to put your personality and your perception of how you're rhyming, but at the same time, you get that topic out, you get that subject matter out, and I commend you for that shit, man. I listened to your shit, and you got that, man. You got the punchline, the wordplay, you got all the things that a real MC should have, but at the same time, I mean, you know, everybody gets it, yo. Yeah, you make great music, yo.
Thanks, man, and
Yeah,
you do
man.
too, bro. You
Appreciate
know?
that.
Like,
Appreciate that.
like you have. I would say easily you have like one of the most unique flows like across just in all hip hop. You know, you have this like very like percussive, you know, flow, and like your voice. It's just, man, like that's the thing, bro. Like when someone plays a song and you come up, they have to know immediately. Oh, that's Serum. Like, just not even thinking twice about it, you know? And that's just not easy.
Yo, I appreciate it. You know, it's just, like, you know, a lot of times that comes from like the graffiti influence and the graffiti background. You know, you gotta have your own style. You know what I mean? And like, why sometimes I don't give a fuck about some of the stuff in hip hop, like some of the politics and the bullshit, because it's the graffiti mentality. You know, you go up, you know, you hit up a wall. If it gets buffed the next day, it's still a successful mission. You go do these things in these buildings that nobody will find. You ain't gonna make no money off of it, but it still completes the mission. It's kind of like you know, you go in and the main thing is to not to stand out like it's a competition, but hip hop teaches us about just being original and you know, I guess I was just taught to just do it that way, you know what I mean, and come up with that shit, you know.
Yeah, like I try to use this little like way of explaining it. Like, you know how you're saying it's not really about competition, and I agree. You know, like I think that there's this whole approach when like, oh, let's say I'm a collab with somebody, and, oh man, I got to do better than him. But like, no, you don't. You got to do better than you if you choose to. You know,
Exactly.
It's like this world isn't a circle; it's a sphere. So like, where even though you and I are like 5 feet away from each other,
Yeah.
if you stare straight up and I stare straight up, it's not parallel. You know, eventually we're gonna separate. You know,
It's true.
So like,
Damn, nigga, that's what's up, yo. That's deep.
you know, so it's like instead of being on some, oh, I'm gonna try to outdo you, it's like, look, bro, just aim higher. That's the whole point. You know.
Yep. And I feel like, you know, And like when I've done collaborations, like, you know, I'll do the verse and like I won't go back and change my verse. Like, you know, it's just about your right expression on that track. It's not about outdoing the next guy. And like I've honestly in my head, I've never been like, yo, I gotta sit down and make sure, like, yeah, you want to do your shit the best. You know what I mean? And you want the cats on the track to be like geeking over what you spit on the track. That's why you do it. But you don't want to do it to like make them feel like you're better than them or you're fresher than them and all that shit. You just want them to geek out. It's like, let's throw all the craziest shit we could throw on this table and let's fucking make each other laugh and geek out and go crazy over what we just made. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a don't hold back thing, but if it's competition, I'll say that maybe brings like a healthy competition, but like,
Or if anything, I'll just be happy like, yo, bro, yeah, you want to feel like you did better than me? Go ahead.
yeah, I don't care about that shit.
You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
give a
Like,
fuck about that
if,
shit.
If
man.
anything, like, man, like if I do a track with somebody and like they hit this crazy inspiration where like what comes out of this track, like this beat brought it out of them, like that makes me happy because in their minds they're like, man, I really fucking killed this shit, and it's like, good.
Yeah,
you know?
and you know, honestly, if you celebrate the culture and you celebrate that shit, yo, if you're like a B-boy, right, and you didn't do the round, but then you see this nigga come out and he does this ill round footwork or power move, you're like, that's the shit. It's like, that's what you like. That's the culture you love. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should just be dope. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I feel you on that. You know?
Yeah, it's like you cook food and like they love the food. You're not even eating the food, like they eat it and you're happy for them. So when I hear someone do some crazy shit, I'm like, man, I'm happy for you. This is kind of what I wanted, you know?
Yeah, man.
And like, and then at the end of the day, like hip hop wins. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, man, honestly, that's the shit. That's what it is. You know what I mean? You hit the nail on the head with that. It's like, it's bigger than just you. You know what I mean? It's a culture, it's an art form, and art and culture has existed since the beginning of humanity. You know what I mean? It's not just even hip hop. You know what I mean? So it's to be celebrated. You know what I'm saying? When a cat does his thing, no matter who he is. You know what I mean? Straight up.
Word. I wish that there was more of that now, man. Like, but it's out there.
It's out there.
But I wish it was just more of it. You know, like I would think that, bro, like especially now with social media, like, man, now we can document more of it, you know, like look, like now more people can see it. Back in the day, like when you put up that video of J Pure on the South Beach Cypher, I was just happy that existed. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, actually, that was Elohim put it up and shit. Elohim was a cat from way back in the day too. He used to fucking be at the battles, who could roast the most and all that shit.
Yeah.
He put it up, and the J Pure is his nigga like from way back. That's like part of the crew, you know what I'm saying? Street Light Poets, all that shit.
Yeah.
And man, so I had decided to, you know, I made sure I shared that because that was a big part of life, yo. Straight up.
So like I just feel like with all this now that documenting is like in such high resolution, it's like now that we could document, let's do some ill shit and have that documented, you know?
Yeah, yo.
Like who knows? Maybe 10 years down the line, like holograms will exist and like people can document it. It'll be all holograms. You can just tap in and be there and shit.
Pop up in a motherfucker's crib and shit. Yo, I'm gonna spit for you right now in your living room, nigga. My hologram.
Yeah, that'll be crazy, right?
That's some crazy ass shit.
Fucking
Yo.
The Matrix, bro. But
You know what they use? You know, yeah, man. If we use technology, we're using it probably for like a lot of the wrong. Like we could do better with our utilization of technology as human beings. Like definitely.
yeah, man. Like, it's funny, like because people are now just quick to just take their phones out and just film, but like they almost like turn a blind eye to the things that are really worth being filmed. You know, like or like you know you go to. Like for example, a show, right? Let's say some major artist performs and they'll take their phones out and they'll film the performance and walk right by the cipher. But like they don't know that cipher is like
That's where that performer started.
yeah.
You know
So
what I
so
mean?
film that too. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
Yeah, man. This is wild, bro. I mean, like this album that you worked on, right? Like, what's up, bro? How long did it take you? How long did you work on it for?
With the Heron album, you know, we've been working for like a couple years on it. You know what I mean? Heron changed locations. He moved. You know, we had some couple of things happen in life between, you know, both of us. You know what I mean? Where, you know, situations where, you know, he moved to the other side of town. It's just little things. But, yo, been about a couple years probably in the making, you know what I mean? And it's done. It's completely done. I did the album cover. Like from now on, I'm doing all my own album art. And it's dope, you know. Heron, when me and Heron get together, just it works like with the music, you know. He has the right fit for my rhymes. I got the right fit for his beats, and you know, it's like it's not so hard, you know. It's pretty easy to make the music and all that shit, you know what I mean? So it's dope.
Do you see yourself like I mean, this is almost like one of those questions that's like, if you don't want to answer me, it's straight. But I don't see why you wouldn't want to answer this. But like, do you see yourself making music for like realistically for like the rest of your life?
Yeah, I always make music.
Yeah.
Always. I'll never stop. Like I've never stopped, yo. You know what I mean? Like I had an album I did before that's like in a studio right now in Purgatory. You know what I mean? The full album, the album with Rebel Without Applause and Afro Pick. I've been dying to get that album out. That was the album that was officially supposed to be called PCP. You know, if I ever decide to re-release it, I'll change the title. But yeah, I'll never stop. You know what I mean? I'll never stop. I don't do it like with the agenda of I'm gonna go call this A&R. I mean, don't get it twisted. That is an agenda. But at the end of the day, it's like painting. It's like art. It's just, this is me. I don't know what else to fucking do.
You know, like this, I think at that same, you were lit at that house party, bro. Like, I remember, like, you were, like, you were just, like, spewing out all this, just, everything that you said, it was just so on point. It just gave me this clear understanding of, like, how much you unconditionally love, like, primarily hip-hop, but more so, like, expression of self through rap, you know? Yeah. At this house party, man, what's up, Morty? At this house party, like, you were like, I don't give a fuck if there's 5 people in the crowd. I don't care. I'll rock in front of nobody. You know, it's like
sounds like me,
but it is, and that's what's so great. Like, I remember when, like, hold on, give me a second, Morty. What's up, man? Come on, go to bed right here.
Yeah. I'm shout out to Morty. You know
yeah. He's like my co-host.
Yeah,
you know?
Man, it's the man right there.
But listen, like, I remember, like, when it's, now that I think about it, you know how sometimes later on you piece things together through like conversation, like, damn, now that I think about it, that may be why I do this, you know? Mm-hmm. But like when you said that, like, man, I'll rock in front of nobody. Like, just, you don't care if there isn't even like 1-2 people in the crowd. You got a mic. You got a mic, and it's like, you know what, man? Let me just bask in it. Yeah. And like, I remember like when I used to throw shows at Eve, you know, I used to throw shows. Nasty would let me like kind of throw a show, and like, so at the end of the night, the lights turn on, the bartender starts counting the money. Yeah, everyone's gone. Yeah. But the stage is still set up. The mics are still on, and bro, I'll be like, you know what? There's nobody here. It's just the bartender and Nasty counting the bread. Mm-hmm. And bro, I'll plug in the aux to my phone, and I'll play it at a somewhat little low volume, and I'll get on the mic and I'll just rap, bro. Like, there was no crowd.
Yo, honestly, if you like, there's not much that can stop you with that mentality, because you're not in it for the wrong reasons. That if everything stops around, you doing it is not affected or by what else is going on around you. That you do it to do it. And if this thing happens and that thing happens, who gives a fuck? I'm still doing it. Yeah. It's not going to discourage me, because that's not the reason why I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing it for that reason. So if all these things fall out, my reason is still there. My drive is going to be forever for that reason. You know what I mean? And no matter what happens. And that's what I was taught. You know what I mean? I'm just a student of the hip hop culture, blah, blah, blah. And you know, if you go back to the beginning, you know, them cats weren't doing it for shit. The cats who started hip hop, they weren't fucking riding around doing it so they could be on the fucking TV screen or so they could be on the radio. They were doing that shit because they were busy working, yo. They wanted to work on some shit, you know what I'm saying, and express themselves and, you know, just do something that nobody's done. And it wasn't if this huge thing came out of it. Nah, we wouldn't even have this shit. This shit wouldn't even be alive if that was the mentality, you know? Yeah,
it's funny because like you saying that, it's like, you know, man, like I feel like music is kind of like a remnant. It's like, yo, I was here. Don't get it twisted. I was like bones of a dinosaur. It's like, yo, I was here, bro. You know, like records, like a vinyl is a record, a historic record, you know?
Yeah, yo.
And it's like, you know, your Tyrannus Serum, you know, like your album's like 100 years from 500 years from now, aliens are gonna be like, yo, you know, listen, man, like this is what format is this like plastic disc? It's like, oh, this is a CD, and they're gonna put it in. They're gonna hear that, you know what I'm saying? That
You know who gave me that name, Tyrannus Serum? Maneuvers, DJ Maneuvers. It was like after a battle, we were in the same crew, Pro Fresh crew. It's like some cypher at H2O's house and everything, and we just ripped some cats. And I might have gotten like the last round, and Maneuvers like just got up crazy, grabbed me by the shoulders, and shook the shit out of me. Tyrannus Serum Rex, and I was like, oh shit. And for the rest of the time, it like stuck. You know what I mean?
That's wild, man.
Yeah, yo. Shouts out to Maneuvers, yo.
It's just funny seeing those little parallels, like even that name, that pseudonym, you know, like Tyrannus Serum Rex, and then like you think about like how you make that correlation with like how you are still connected with like your tribal instincts, you know, in your music, you know.
Yeah, dope.
And like years from now, I know for a fact, years from now, like that's why I ask if you ever see yourself stopping making music, and like I expected you to say hell nah, you know.
Never, man. It's just, you know, I don't know, just never that, yo, just not happening.
Yeah, like people saying how like hip hop is a young man's sport, and it's like no, it's just yes in the industry, but hip hop it's just a sport, bro. Like a 80-year-old that used to play ball can still dribble and try to shoot it in the rim. So it's like
think about if you said that about any other genre of music. Jazz is a young man's sport.
It's so silly.
Soul music is a young man's sport.
Yeah, it's silly.
How would that fucking sound? That sound fucking stupid, yo.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean? Like straight up.
But it's that hip hop is a young genre still,
and an immature one too sometimes.
Yeah,
like hip hop is very cultured and very mature. Let me take that statement back. But there are aspects that can be immature. You know what I mean? And I would say those aspects don't necessarily reflect the definition of hip hop. They're more like they grew with the time and as things changed. And even with competition, you know what I mean? If you think about just basic competition in the jungle, you know, niggas just all tried to kill each other. Who's going to be the winner? All the fucking 20 through 30-year-olds, the young guys, because they're the most in shape and blah, blah, blah. But you know, what separates a human from an animal is we got brains. We're not just out supposed to be just killing each other and competing. You know, what's the difference between a predator versus a man? You know what I mean? A man is his brain. You know what I mean? And like, we should know that fucking, you know, the brain only gets better with time. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, like, if I see somebody like, you know, who's one MC that I really, really admire just because he does it because, man, he gets it. Like, MF Doom.
Dope.
You know,
Seb Love X, you mean? Now
yeah, bro. Like Doom, like I see realistically, I see Doom like 15, 20 years from now, he's just gonna keep dropping. Like, who's gonna say what when like someone in their like 60s or even further down the line, just like, yeah, new album coming out. And it's like you see him with like all the wrinkles and shit, and it's like, but what are you gonna tell him to not do it? Yeah. And then what's that gonna say about the ageism in hip hop at that point?
Correct,
you know?
Man. Look at Jay-Z, man. Jay-Z dropped some fucking, you know, he's dropping this super profound material now. You know what I mean? The mind ages, you grow. Like, even with my music, you're going to hear me, I won't be on the same shit as a man that I was on the whole time. I don't have these same things like defense mechanisms and this false armor that, like, you know, I might have portrayed on my other records, because you grow and you gain real strength and real wisdom, and the mind grows. And every artist and musician, no matter what genre, I think if they keep doing it through time, yo, they just get fucking better, yo. You know what I mean?
Yo, this is how you know that the conversation's good. You've been holding on to the same brew for like an hour. Like, you opened it at the very beginning, and it's like, that's how good it gets, man.
This shit is warm now, yo.
My dad said that my dad always told me, he's like, yeah, like a warm beer is like a cold woman. It's like,
get that shit the fuck out of here. Word up, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what's
man.
up.
But this is good, man. Like I just feel like, like also, one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast is because I just want people to connect the dots a little bit, like like it's like Instagram, like there's no people just be archiving all the old photos, like they just use it as like a quick little portfolio. Some people use it as a portfolio to exhibit what they're currently working on, and other people use it as like a photo album.
Man,
you can scroll down and see like the younger version of them and shit,
Dope, definitely, man.
And like in the age of like where we are today, like so someone that might not know, they see new Serum track, but they don't know, man, and they should. And hopefully this like little platform will allow people to just be like, damn, it's crazy, like what the history was really like, man, because I hold those times dear, bro. Like even like when I was in 9th, 10th grade or whatever. I know it sounds crazy. I keep on going back to like my high school years, but it's not my high school years. It's just like this is part of my life.
Very most impressionable years of your life. Those times, you know what I mean, is definitely true. I go back and think about my times, and it's the same shit. Definitely.
Yeah, and like, I'm just happy that you came through, man, and we were able to chop it up, and like you can just tell me, like, you can just take me down memory lane right quick, round your way.
That's what's up.
And if you could, bro, because we've been talking for more than an hour already, like,
God damn.
I know, right? It's crazy how it just every time, bro. Like y'all, like I don't have no clocks. That's how it is. Hey, listen, man. Like not to get on some weird shit, but like when I was locked up and shit, they don't have clocks on the walls. It's like I imagine that's what my dog Morty must feel like when I walk outside. It's like I leave and like he's just here by himself. Like who knows what the hell goes on? But like he has no concept of time. You get me?
Yeah.
And then when I finally come back, I'm just back again. And that's what it was like when I was locked up. Like it's just daytime and nighttime. That's it.
Yeah.
So
that's
like
crazy, yo. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I never
dog.
been to jail before. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't.
Good.
And I have friends, that have been and all that stuff, and thank God I haven't. If at the end of the day, it's part of your story. You know what I mean? Like things happen. I could have easily, for one reason or another, that could have been my story too. And you know what I mean? And everything that happens, like I could just see how much you learned from your experience. Like I see a new art. I see you have different eyes in a higher level. You know what I mean? And I see that in you. You know what I mean? And I think, you learn. It's like what, you go through shit. Either you learn or you don't. Either you get better or you get worse. You know what I mean?
Word, bro. Yeah, either you go in one direction or another, man.
That's it, yo.
But look, like, if you could, bro, like, just let people know, let people know. I just got a text from Shotty. Yo, I love that Mowgli episode. Fuck yeah, man. Shotty, man.
Shotty. Shotty was the shit. Shotty used to be like a rivalry. Pro Fresh Crew had a beef with Common Ground Crew back in the day. And it was like, the two best battlers was like Shotty and Serum. And you know what I mean? And it was like, that guy's a beast, yo. I get nothing but love and respect for Deadshot. And even now, he's a creative animal, yo. You know what I mean? It's one of the cats a lot of cats don't realize that, you're a creator, yo. You might end up doing something different, but at the same time, that was your foundation, and that's what taught you to be this creative mastermind. Shotty used to be Deadshot and Little Man, ID4, salute, man. Those are niggas, yo.
And this is the thing, bro. Like that right there, like your transparent, just appreciation for your contemporaries, your comrades out here.
Yeah,
like people, like I'm never gonna lose sight of that. Like, man, I was fortunate to come up in the time that when all this was like really thriving, you know?
Definitely. That's hip hop, man. I wouldn't be nothing without none of those guys. I know it sounds cliche and corny and shit, but imagine who the fuck would you be if you just had no ciphers to go to? All those people are your nutrients. They're your foundation, man. That's like who you came from, yo. You know what I mean? And it's like to not acknowledge it. I mean, that they may have maybe like an ego problem or just the issue. Like there shouldn't be a man that shouldn't acknowledge that kind of shit. I mean, it's like that means you're not acknowledging your life, yo.
Yeah, straight up, man.
Straight up, man.
I appreciate
One person
you, man.
I didn't get shout out to, man. I gotta give a shout out to is my brother Manifesto, man. Manifesto is in the trenches with me from years now, decades now, and I definitely Manifesto. If you're listening, yo, we got mad shit to come, yo. You know what I mean? I want to give a shout out to my homie Manifesto, yo. I ain't say his name yet, and that's my nigga for life. That's my blood brother right there.
That's how you know, man. Like, listen, like, let that be like a message to everyone out there, bro. Like, just keep on keeping on. You know what I'm saying? Life isn't supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not entitled. Don't feel so entitled for like such a good life, you know?
Yeah, of course, man.
Like, you think of Earth, like we're just this little rock hurtling through space, bro. You know, like, how entitled are you really to warmth? That's a blessing that we're even this far away from the sun, you know?
Correct. Put all that shit together. How important are you really? You know, in the grand scheme of the universe, how important are you? You know what I'm saying? It's like the biggest, you think that the biggest thing going on in the universe is us? Come on, nigga. We're just like little marbles in this shit. We're like a little cell. We're like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like, so just give thanks. You know what I mean? Straight up.
Word up, man. I appreciate you coming through, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go through on some beats with you, bro.
All right, let's do it. Let's build.
You know? But look, this is the episode 13 of the Noche podcast. My name is Art Morera. If you want to check out Serum on social media, you want to drop that right quick?
Serum 305, Instagram. You know, go ahead and check out Serum on YouTube. Just put Serum Brainstorm Trooper, everything will come up. SerumBandcamp.com.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you put Serum Brainstorm Trooper pretty much anywhere, and it'll pop up all my shit. You know what I mean? Pretty much, yo.
My man. All right, bro. Once again, bro, thank you for this painting that you hooked me up with, man.
No doubt.
You know, I'm glad that my music inspired you to do that. That blows my mind, dog. You know.
Hey, you know, I'd rather it be your music if I, you know, that bigs you up. You know, I say I'll listen to some fucking top guy that everybody listens to, blah blah blah. Like, that piece now is more special, you know what I mean? More unique. You know, I say like more unique, you know what I mean? Like, it's not some dime a dozen fucking album I was listening to when I made it. So
crazy, dog.
You know what I mean? Big up.
All right, y'all. So listen, we out of here, man. Medianoche. Peace.
Peace.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.